on the True Word Television. It is time to explore the True Wellness Connections.
Welcome again to the True Wellness Connection. My name is Claudine Salomo.
Today is Tuesday.
Especially on Tuesdays like this, we talk about a lot of topics.
Join Mrs. Claudine Salomo.
I am not saying you should not love yourself for who you are, but you should want to do something even better.
Victoria Masio.
You just have to be honest with yourself.
And Elizabeth Bremo.
The way you live tells so much to the kids.
To talk health, wealth, parenting, relationship, finances, and life at large.
Because any negative thought, trust me, does never build anybody, can only destroy us.
Look deep inside your pocket, your bank account.
The way you handle situations at home matters.
The True Wellness Connections, every Tuesday on the True Word Television, 5:30 Winnipeg.
My name is Pastor Joy. I invite you to tune in on a regular basis to the True Word Television and be blessed by God's servants from all over the world. Welcome. We look forward to seeing you soon.
The True Wellness Connections.
Welcome again to the True Wellness Connection. My name is Claudine Salomo.
Today is Tuesday.
Especially on Tuesdays like this, we talk about a lot of topics.
Join Mrs. Claudine Salomo.
I am not saying you should not love yourself for who you are, but you should want to do something even better.
Victoria Masio.
You just have to be honest with yourself.
And Elizabeth Bremo.
The way you live tells so much to the kids.
To talk health, wealth, parenting, relationship, finances, and life at large.
Because any negative thought, trust me, does never build anybody, can only destroy us.
Look deep inside your pocket, your bank account.
The way you handle situations at home matters.
The True Wellness Connections, every Tuesday on the True Word Television, 5:30 Winnipeg.
Hi everyone, welcome. Today is Tuesday. You know, when it's Tuesday, True Wellness Connection is always on from 5:30 to 6:30. Sorry, sometimes we can be late, but we are going to keep our promise. We are going to be on air at 5:30. Soon we are going to work on that. Today we are still carrying on with our same topic, the cost of anger, number 3. But before we dig deeper into our discussion, I would love to introduce to you my 2 guests. They are not guests, but they are regular faces here. So on my right, you can introduce yourself.
Hello everyone, my name is Elizabeth Bremo, and I'm happy to be here this evening. The weather is so beautiful, so that is one of the things that make me bubble. So, and today we're going to continue with the cost of anger, which is what we've been talking about. So we will like it, if you can like, love, share, ask questions. Like today we have lots of questions to talk about, so we appreciate it if you can ask more. We want dad to call their wives, mom to call their husbands and their kids, and let there be family meeting, let there be family gathering with us. We will really appreciate that. Thank you.
And on my left, of course, is the regular visitor.
Yes, hello, good evening everyone. We are so happy and excited again to be able to join you in your homes, in your car, in your workplace, wherever you are. Today is Tuesday again. The beautiful ladies always meet here just to share our wisdom on various topics that affect us as individuals, also as a community. So, as you can see, the topic today, we're going to talk about the cost of anger. And we know that anger is something that can affect anybody at any time, at any given moment. So we're just going to study together on how can we manage our angers in the way that does not destroy our well-being or our everyday life. So stay connected with us. Just send us your questions. Then we'll be able to be happy to discuss with you. So you're very welcome, and we're happy to have you joining us this evening.
Well, to our viewers, thank you so much for watching, and thank you so much for all the questions that you have sent in for the two past Tuesdays. And we are still continuing with this topic. The reason why we are still continuing with the cost of anger number 3 is because, you know, this topic is for everyone. For your co-worker, for yourself, for your manager, for me, for your husband, church member, pastors, for everyone. So we want to talk and get a lot of how we can manage anger when you encounter it in different ways, because you cannot only just say, okay, my kids are making me angry, so you know that is, you may think that is it. No, when you go to work, you deal with your co-worker. When you go to the hospital, you deal with the hospital stuff. So it's for everyone. That's why we are taking too much time on this, because we want to help people out there with, even you are helping me too, for those who are asking questions, so that I can know how to deal with anger as a mother. So, you know, being angry, for the last 2 Tuesdays we talk, you can be angry but you don't sin. And one favorite viewer sent us a question. We know that it's a bit difficult to answer this question, but we are going to navigate through. So if you know, if you can be able to help us, please send us your view. Don't just be quiet. We want to help as many people out there who are angry. Yeah. And so the question is really beyond my head. I don't even know how to answer it, but I will go straight to the point. And it reads, Jesus was angry and turned the tables over there by spilling the products on the tables. The owner of the goods got angry at Jesus, which makes it double anger. In one episode now, there was an action behind the anger by Jesus. So, yeah, this is really a tough question. So we need your support. If you're a pastor, you are watching, you've been preaching, you know, you can send us your views so that we can read to our viewers. And my first person that can answer this question, I don't know, but I can start with my right, since I like to use my right side more.
Okay. Now, this is a question that is like 2 questions in one. Now, there is something called righteous anger. And that is what Jesus had the day he flipped the table. Remember, the Bible says in the book of Matthew 21 verse 13, it says, this house, my house will be called the house of the Lord. That is the verse. My house will be called the house of the Lord. Not the house where they will be selling and buying. Not the house where anybody that needs something will come to come and buy or to come and sell. But my house will be called the house of the Lord. Matthew 21 verse 13. Now, another part of the Bible says, that is Psalm 4 verse 4. Be angry, but sin not. Now, let us hold on to these 2 verses. When Jesus saw people buying and selling, the righteous anger came out of him. He was so angry. Can you just imagine a mom that put her child down and she was just looking when an animal, a very big bear, came and was just tearing the child? Imagine how you will feel. You will not be looking at your child, being attacked by an animal. You will want to stand up and protect that child. Now, the example may not be the same, but it feels like to Jesus, the house of the Lord is the most important thing. That was why he was so angry. That was why he had that righteous anger in him. And he told them, you cannot be coming to the house of the Lord where you're supposed to go to worship, and you are not going there to go and buy and sell. So that was why he was very, very angry. Now, the other part of the question says, if you are the person that chose something, just like Jesus did, people will not take it easy with you. Yes, people will not take it easy with you, because the anger you have is not a righteous anger. Is that you are so angry and you need, for you to let out your anger, try to move back, move away from the points, or move away from what is making you angry, and let your head or let your body calm down. So, comparing what Jesus did to when somebody is just throwing things or being angry and just saying that you are just being like Jesus, they are not the same. What Jesus did is different. There was a part of the Bible that says, the zeal of the house of the Lord consumed me. So, because Jesus saw these people buying and selling, that was why he got angry. They're supposed to be worshiping in that place, not buying and selling. So when you are angry, remember, number one, you are not Jesus. Number two, you are human. So when you are hungry, the best thing for you is, number one, move yourself out of that place. Try to calm down. Do something that will calm you down. Do something that will settle you. Then you can come back and and address the issue. So that is what I think I can say about that.
Well explained, my sister. You said it well, that there is a holy anger. And holy anger can happen to anybody. Like, as in this situation, Jesus was angry to see like what people were doing in the house of his father, while the house of his father was made just for worship, not for businesses. It's just the same thing. You can be home, you have a holy anger to your children. Sometimes parents, we do yell at our children, and we are really angry to how our children are behaving. But our anger is not an anger that is meant to destroy their life. And it's not an anger that will actually destroy even ourselves. We are just expressing how we feel in a way that we are hoping that we'll be able to help these kids. Because sometimes kids need to be able to understand that I made my mom angry because this action that I did. And that's how a normal kid should be able to feel. I shouldn't make my mom being so angry like this, just because, she has told me that I shouldn't take the iPad at this hour. Now I'm doing it. And so the anger that you have is a holy anger. So a bad anger is when, for instance, you are angry at somebody of like what he did to you, and you allow that anger to cause you now to do things that you regret later. So in any situations, just know that yes, you're allowed to be angry, because it's an emotion. You can be angry at any time, but don't allow the anger to make you do things that you should not be doing. Like, for instance, when you are angry at your child who have done, such things, maybe you told the child not to cook, and the child, put the pot on fire and they almost burn the house. Of course, when you come to intervene, you're going to be angry. But don't be angry to the point whereby you're going to take his hand and put it in the fire to show him how much you are angry. You are burning the child because you are showing how much this child should not have done that. Then where you're going? Far. So we should be careful. As much as angry we can be, let your anger not to cause you to do something that you will regret later. You can be angry at your wife. Okay, don't be angry at your wife to the point whereby you're gonna punch his face. Then at the end of the day, you end up in prison. So anger is something that you should be aware that I don't feel good right now about what you did. As my sister say, if you have to walk away, go and walk away. Really, the truth is we all can be angry at each other, at your spouse. You can be angry at your kids, at your coworker, at your boss. Don't act in the way that you're going to lose your job because you're angry about what your coworker did or how your boss treated you. Then you are beyond control your own anger. Then if you cannot control your own anger, if your anger can dictate you to do something that you're going to regret later, it's about time to seek counseling, to speak to somebody that when I'm angry, I just can't control myself. So that's what we would say.
Excellent.
You want something to add?
I just want to add that most of the time, anger is like an emotion, emotion that is filled with energy. So when you have that emotion, when that thing is boiling in you, I've seen men that they will just throw things. They don't care who that thing touches. They will just throw it. Why? Because they are hungry. That emotion, is now being filled up with a negative energy. So you need to be very, very careful when that anger is coming up. Now, when we look at Jesus, we said Jesus had a righteous anger. Now, Jesus was showing the people that he will not take crap from anybody. He's not ready to take crap from anybody. And he's showing them how passionate he was about the house of God. So, Jesus flipping the table is so perfect, is good. But that doesn't mean you and I can do that.
Yes. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Anyway, I'm going to give my own opinion on this question from my brother who sent in this question. You asked, there are two questions actually in one. One, Jesus is, he turns the table and all the goods and the products, they were all on the floor. And another one is there was an action behind the anger by Jesus. It's true. When Jesus went into the temple, when you become angry, you just don't come angry just for anything. There is something that makes you angry. Even if not your child, maybe from work, somebody makes you angry, and that was built in there. So you didn't know how to express it to the person who made you angry at the first place, right? So it's the same with Jesus. When Jesus, this happened around the Passover when he was going into Jerusalem, and he knew very well in 5 days he's going to be what? He's going to give it all on the cross for me and you, right? First of all, we have to realize that Jesus was also has a human nature and also has a spirit nature. He was also scared. How is this going to happen to him, right? To be crucified. So he has that tension within him.
Some stress.
Yeah, So when he came, he found people doing money exchange there, selling doves there. Like, honestly, the house of his father's house was abused. First of all, abuse in a way that people bring goods and sell instead of for coming to worship. Secondly, misuse, because people who are coming to worship the Lord, they cannot come in to worship the Lord. The poor, the sick, they couldn't come in to worship the Lord because it's a marketplace, right? Secondly, too, thirdly, you know, money exchange, right? All of us, we travel abroad. When you do exchange in the airport, the price of your dollar will be a little bit lower compared to when you buy it outside the airport, right? That is exactly what was happening in that temple. So the price of everything was triple and double. So for the poor people, they cannot be able to afford it. So Jesus, because Jesus was full of love, full of compassion, and he didn't want people's poor people's advantage to be taken or the sick. That was why he turned the table upside down, because of his human nature, because also the stress that this is going to happen to him in 5 days. So there was this anger before even he came to Jerusalem to he knew he was going to die. Everybody who knows we don't know when we are going to die, but everybody who knows that he's going to die in 5 days will question, why am I going to die? Why am I going to die, right? That was probably going into his head. And because of that, instead of him to come in the temple to pray and find strength, he came and he found people selling, people advantage were taken and all that. So those things made him to prove to people that his father's house is not for those things, you know. And yeah, it's not for those things. So he wanted to show people that that was the house of prayer. And also, if you look at the scripture critically, you know, it was also an opportunity. That anger of Jesus was also an opportunity, because there, after he turned the table upside down, he preached to the poor, he healed the sick. So this shows that as a human being, combination of human being and also Holy Spirit, yeah, there was tension in him that made him to do that. But of course, for him, he only turned the table. He didn't slap anyone. He didn't chop anybody's head off, only the table, because he knows that that table is a table for making a mess, for taking advantage of the poor people. So if he turns the table upside down, then that table will not be useful again for exchanging money. So this table, if you take it seriously, this table in our daily life, it wouldn't be only the table for exchanging money, maybe table for sexual traffic and all that and other things too, right? So this is what I'm kind of thinking. Yeah, he did that, but it's a righteous anger that he did. For me personally, as a human being, yeah, I will get angry. But when you get angry, they say you don't have to sin. The Bible says you don't have to sin. How are you going to do that? Anger management. Either you walk away from the sin, leave the sin completely and go away. But also, it depends what kind of anger you have. For example, if you see a child is using bad language like you see my child using a bad language for a grown-up, will you walk away from that child? No, you will not walk away. You will say, hey, you are still young. Don't do that. Don't say things like that. It's not good. You intervene. So in your anger, sometimes in our anger, you have to intervene. You don't have to be silent, because if you be silent, that person probably may not know, you know, what he's doing at the moment. Because even the Pharisees, the hypocrites who were selling stuff in the temple, they knew it was temple, but they did not know that they are preventing people to come and worship. They did not know that they're preventing the poor to come in. They didn't know until when Jesus turned the table around. So in our anger, if you know it, always take a righteous anger. Instead of answering the person in a very high toned voice to bring tension, maybe cool down. You say, you know what, it's not a good time to talk. Can I talk to you sometime? If you really need to intervene, you don't have to be silent sometimes, because sometimes we do something when we really don't know what we are doing. As human beings, we have millions of thoughts in our head. Sometimes we don't know what we do. It's good to intervene, to let that person know, you know, right now your action is not good, but can you calm down? Can we talk sometime? Can you hold the hand of this person? Just look into the eyes of this person that wronged you. Maybe that will give him or her some clues about the anger you're going through. So with this question, I believe I'm not a pastor, but this is what I have understood. For my favorite brother who sent this question in, you can send your opinion, you can send your comment, so that we can also know what you think about it, whether we answered it correctly or not, and how do you want us to answer. So, yeah, this is what I think. For our viewers out there, if you know a better way to answer this question, please send it to us so that we can read to our audience. So, yeah, this is the question that was really troubling all of us over the weekend, how we are going to tackle it. So, question number B, it was also sent to us by a viewer. It says, if the action is performed by me to others, will you see the action the same way, since you say that is the action that causes you to sin?
What is the question?
This is the question.
Which action are you referring to?
Say, like, action behind your sinning. I think this is the question he sent.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, basically, the whole message here is all about acknowledging that we can all be angry. His whole message is that knowing that, you know, there's an anger that can be productive when you are angry at somebody and you are trying to correct somebody without harming that person. And that's a good thing. But don't try to be angry or correcting somebody and you are hating that person's reputation. Is not good. There's a good way you can correct somebody. So, okay, I understand I don't really like these things that way, but do you understand the cost of your action? I'm angry because this way you are taken is leading you to the rich. Those friends you are hanging around with, they are going to corrupt you good tomorrow. You know, you are showing an anger in a situation that is constructive. But the other things we want to look at is that when you are angry at anything, just make sure you acknowledge that your anger can cost you lifetime if you are not managing it well. That's why the topic today is the cost of anger. What would happen to you if you allow that anger to control you to the point that they dictate to you what you should do? There's a proverb in my language that says, anger will cause you to kill your loved one. After you have killed the person, it will leave you, you will remain in shame. So the anger will be gone. Then you'll be like, okay, now I've killed my brother. Then what have I done? So which means anger is just an emotion that comes in a short time. You should to be able to have the capacity to control how you feel at this moment so that your feeling will not cause you a lifetime regret, because that's what the anger can do. Whether you manage how you feel right now or your feeling dictates you to do things that you regret lifetime. Again, Jesus being God, there's nothing he could regret. But he knew in the next few days he's going to be gone anyway. But he stayed like, even though I'm gone, you're going to know that this is what I stand for. The house of my father is not a business house. It's the only place of worship. However you may feel about whatever he did, but the message was left there.
I just want to add that, I don't know, maybe any one of us have, maybe you've experienced this before. When you are hungry and you are boiling and you are unable to talk. Have you ever been in that situation?
Yes.
You will be so mad inside and you will be looking as if, where did I, how did I want to deal with you right now? The anger is so much that you couldn't even open your mouth. When you find yourself in situations like that, the best thing for you is for you to look for a secluded place and just go and sit. Because any action you take with that level of anger, it may not be good or it may not come out well. So the best thing for you is to sit yourself down, just few minutes, talk to yourself. Because most of the time, we need communication. You discover something is going on, and instead of you to jump to conclusion, why don't you have a talk with the person? If it's your child, why did you finish all the cookies in the cookie jar? There are like 40 pieces of cookies, and it's done between yesterday and today. How did that happen? So, when you communicate with your children or your child, it's going to go a long way. Instead of you to start using physical ways of correcting or other ways too, ask questions. Yes, you are angry. Your children will say that, mom, don't move close to mom. Don't move close to mom right now because she's in another level. That is how mad you are. So let them, when they see you, they are afraid already. So if you cannot talk to them that you are so angry, then just go and sit in a secluded place and calm down. Or if you are not all that angry, have a talk with them. Communication goes a long way. Communication can bring all the tension in your body, all the emotions in your body. It can bring it down.
Just want to have a question for you.
Okay.
We are talking about anger, and let's talk about anger in the family context.
Okay.
In the family, you have children, you have a wife, you have husbands, and we know the kids, you can yell at your kids to the top of your lungs, So you can be angry at your partner, You can be angry at your husband, you can be angry at your wife. I just want to ask you a personal question. So, have you been angry at your husband at one given day in time? And how did you resolve the anger to restore that family, everyday things? Because anger comes. So we have to see the cause of anger. So we are angry at your husband, but you don't want your anger to escalate to destroying your marriage. So how do you resolve anger in your marriage as a wife? There might be another woman who's following us. Maybe it feels like I'm gonna punch this man. Like, you know what I mean? Like, how did you resolve your anger that you may have had with your husband 10 years ago, 20 years ago? Who cares?
Last week.
Bring it up.
For me, God has given me one gift, and I always call it gift. I always give people long rope to pull. And this is what I mean about long rope. I don't jump into conclusion. When you hurt me, I will even give an excuse for that. I may say, oh, maybe he doesn't know.
Yeah.
Or maybe he doesn't really realize, or he has forgotten. I give long rope.
You give him a benefit of doubt.
Yeah. But when it gets to this place, most of the time, I'm not saying all time, most of the time, I take myself out of the situation. And I have a room. I will just sit and pray. Because I always pray, and some people may not use this. This is just what I use. I always pray for wisdom. Because I always ask the Holy Spirit, when do you want me to talk? And how do you want me to talk? Because I know how to talk.
Yeah, I can tell.
And so, at times, if I say one sentence, you may not recover from that one sentence.
Ooh.
So, I need wisdom so that I will not talk in a way that will, like you said, escalate the situation. So when I talk, I need to be calm and bring everything down. However, I'm making my point known. He's getting the point, but at the same time, there is peace. So I always do that. But there are some situations that I can
Say it.
Before I remember the Holy Spirit, it will be after the situation because we are all women. And so my husband knows.
Yeah.
So thank God for him. He's always quiet when
You're up.
So I thank God, but there are sometimes that the power to shut up will not be there because of maybe what is going on. And I will just keep on and keep on. And it will just be looking at, oh my goodness. So he has his own time to talk too, but he will know that this thing is just, is like something that I've bottled in so long ago. So we all have different ways of handling situation, but most of the time we just need to be submissive to the Holy Spirit and to God, so that the situation will not become something else.
Wow. Thank you so much. Maybe, you know what, I can't just leave myself behind because I also, have a spouse that will get angry. And so when I get angry, I'm like, okay, I'm just so angry at this time. Like, should I punch his face or what should I do? But, you're going to have to control. This is how I feel. You have to be in charge of the situations. But at the same time, we get the point. I will be like, okay, we need to talk. This situation is like this, I just don't like how it is. This is how I feel.
It should be.
Yeah, it should be. But the person will be like, calm down. Like, that's my man. Calm down. Sara Carme. Second part. That's how he's talking. Just be quiet. Just be calm. There's no problem. You're just overreacting. It's like, no, don't think I'm overreacting. This is how I'm seeing. This is how I'm saying. Okay, I can be angry, but I still have to control myself, and you still have to allow your partner to make his point.
Yeah.
And you have to take your partner's point into consideration. And when you try to take your partner's point into consideration, it helps you calm down and relax. So as much as you are angry at your partner, don't always want to have your way. Because you want to have your way. Remember, it's not your child.
Yeah.
He's not your child. And you don't have no power to change him to be the way you want. But I always tell every woman, you have the power to change yourself. But the good news is that you acknowledge that you are angry. And the second thing, you let the person know how you feel about the situation. But I will tell you, everyone who are following me, do not allow your partner to shut you down. Your anger, you have to acknowledge, I'm angry. And this person have to be able to listen. That's why you say sometimes you guy listen, he doesn't talk. When somebody did not talk, has already spoken. So that means whatever you are telling him, make sense to him, even though as a man, being in his own ego, he doesn't want to say, Liz, you are right in this situation. But when he comes down, has already spoken. So it's up to you now to calm yourself down. Remember, you are in this journey together for life.
That's right.
There is no point of holding your anger against your partner because you work together in this journey for life. So calming down and allowing that your everyday life continue. I always tell people, and I spoke to you before, when you as a partner, you are angry, make sure before the end of the day, you have to have, how do you say, sorry. You have to define okay. Anyway, the reconciliation between couple when they are angry, they have to have sex. That's straightforward. So that's the only way that you can show to your partner that I was angry at you, now I'm done. So myself, when I know I was angry at my partner and I know I have lectured him about this situation, I'll make sure we end up by coming together. So that's a way to show, honey, even though I lectured you, this is over. We have to continue. So I have to create an atmosphere whereby the sex will take place. Then from there, everything I'm trusting you is going to be behind. You guys not going to remember that you actually lectured him because of the anger you had for him. So again, the cause of anger, how you lectured your partner may not have liked it. But remember, it's a man also. You know, he doesn't want to feel down. He doesn't want to like it. Even though you say the truth, he doesn't really want you to tell him the truth. But when you find a way now to say, like, let us have life, man, this is over, let's just continue. Then this guy tomorrow is going to be back to himself. He's going to know that he spoke to me, but the message is gone. Because remember, hearing is so important. He cannot unhear what you told him.
Yeah.
So that's why it's so important. Let your partner know how you feel about the situation. If you have to take it to say it a million times, say it. The more you say it, the more transformation will take place. That's how I deal with anger in my own marriage.
And I just want to make this comment that as I'm talking, is listening, then when it's time for me to be quiet, he will talk. Because that is communication. If I'm the only one talking for like 2 hours, then there is problem. So as soon as I'm done, and most of the time I will always say, okay, I'm done. You know, it's few minutes. Then he will say his own that, oh, it's not like that, it's like this. So when you are talking, don't let it be you alone, because if you are the only one talking, that is monologue. As you are talking, when you are done, he is supposed to talk too. And if he's the husband, that is talking first, when you are done, let your wife tell you her own opinion. That is it.
Somebody just made a comment here, and her name is Agnes. She said, I kept my silence for a long time. Finally, the last response was to divorce. So, again, that's why we are encouraging. Don't allow yourself to get that far.
Yeah.
Because the cause of anger is bad. So maybe if she should have spoken up front how she feels, she might have resolved some of the problem that led to this divorce. So that we are speaking to the life for every woman or every man who is following us. When things not going right, just come up front. Don't be afraid or be intimidated. Tell the person how you feel. Tell your partner how you feel. Tell your partner that you don't like this game. Let that partner know. And if he has something that you want to say, like, you know, my wife, you are being crazy, or my husband, you are being crazy. Okay, if you and me, one of us must be crazy. So let us look for help. That's where help comes from. So please, let no one go to bed with anger. And we have Jerry again who said, do not allow the sun to go down on your anger. Make sure you talk to the issue over at bedtime and they love each other small. I love that. Bedtime, that's where the business gets resolved. You know, you talk about the issue, and then you get what I mean. Back the mic to you.
Me, I don't know what to say, what to comment. But yeah, we talk about this anger, dealing with anger in the family where husband and wives, they resolve problem. What about if it's your co-worker? There where there is no other bedtime kind of bedtime, you know, peekaboo. So how are you going to resolve? Honestly, some of us, you know, maybe you don't have it. What are you going to do? This is a co-worker, or in the hospital or marketplace. What are you going to do? Let's also tackle that too.
For co-workers, that may take longer than what is expected, because most of the time you try to avoid each other for the sake of peace. If you know that this guy, let me just use an example, you know that this guy doesn't like you. You know, most of the time you don't expect everybody to like you. So this guy doesn't just like you. Why? He doesn't have any reason. Mere seeing you makes him I don't
agitated.
know. Yes. So when you know that he doesn't like you, try as much as possible to avoid him too. Because when you see somebody that doesn't like you, you are not happy. Because you are asking yourself, why don't they like me? I didn't do anything to them. I'm nice to them. I'm doing the best. So why don't they like me? So when you're seeing him, makes you feel somehow too. So most of the time you try to avoid each other. But there are some times that, luckily for both of you, there may be an assignment that your boss think the two of you need to do it together. Then, okay, you may ask question, do you have any issue with me? Or do you have any problem with me? Make it as plain as possible. Don't behave as if you really prepared for him, but at the same time pass your message across. I was thinking that maybe you have something against me, and most of the time the guy may tell you, you know what, I don't really remember what happened that time, so forgive me, or let's just continue. There are some that just die like that, but there are some that will just tell you, you know what, I just don't like you, so let's quickly do this assignment, if we, you know. So both ways you need wisdom, because wisdom will help you to know what your answer will be to the guy, how you will answer the guy, or how you will handle the situation.
Okay. Thank you so much. That's a very good question, and especially for us who works in the healthcare field, we can have a lot of kind of conflict with our co-workers, because you know we are dealing with a human being. I can come with my clinical approach, and my fellow comes and think like that I, you know, challenge my integrity or my decision making, and it doesn't feel good, you know. So personally, when I feel that somebody is mistreating me, or like he look down on me, or is questioning my integrity, I will approach, because remember, when anger, don't allow the anger to stay in you. If you identify that this is something that makes me angry, I will give an example, like a situation that happened between my co-workers, whatever, like you make a report to the person who's supposed to be in charge to review the things. You send an email to your boss, for instance, the person is like 1 week, 2 weeks, 1 month, your boss not responding. Like it's showing you that maybe you just blowed in the air, like it's like you peed in the river. Like whatever you said, that is damaging your self-esteem. You know, you don't feel good because this person is supposed to take into consideration what you said. You know what? I get the point where like this person, I send an email. I just want to let you know that I don't feel comfortable with you. I don't feel safe with you
That's
no
right.
more. You are my boss. I send you this particular message. You never respond to me. How do you think you made me feel? Because next time, how do you think I will come to you with another problem when you never resolve this problem? You know what happened? So this man actually acknowledged that he ignored me. So what happened, we had a meeting, said like, you know, I'm so sorry, I acknowledge that I should have done this, maybe I got caught up with busy, blah, 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 blah. So when the person told me that I'm so sorry, guess what? I was again at peace, my anger went away, my relationship with my boss is great and amazing. Again, if I don't talk, I'll be looking at him every day and crunch my teeth and start looking for a way I'm going to tell him off. While he's, you know, if you don't speak, how do you expect the other person to know that you are angry? Again, the cause of anger is when you keep it inside you, it can be biting you inside you. The other person is free. So whoever is making you angry, speak that person. And let the problem be resolved. Then at the end of the day, you have to have that. Your heart should be a treasure, a clean place, not a place to keep any garbage. I was like, if you stress me out, I will make sure you get the stress to you and I stay free. I don't allow any stress from anybody to be in me. I'll give it to you, then you can have the stress, I can be free. There's a proverbs in my language that said, instead of being choked by how somebody make you feel, let that person know how you feel. If he does not like what you say, let the person choke you. At least people will know, oh, Claudine was killed by so because Claudine said so. At least they will know who killed you. Imagine you are dying inside you because I made you feel this way. You don't want to tell me. Every single day you see me, your heart is pumping. So it's better you tell me. I don't have to like what you are telling me, but you have to open up and tell me how you feel. Tell somebody how you feel about them in any situation. That will help you have a clean heart where there's no anger. Because anger will never build up anybody. Will never add one extra day to your life or any happiness. It can only do. It's like a virus that will be biting you alive.
I just have something from Jerry here. It says, for co-workers, involve a friend or take it to the management, especially when it involves bullying that makes you angry.
Yes.
And you know there are some co-workers that really know how to bully.
Oh, yes.
Subtly.
Not with me, oh.
They will not use their words, but they are really bullying you subtly. So when you discover this, just go to the management. And thank you, Jerry, for putting this note down. This statement is very good. You need to take a step immediately, because the more you take from that co-worker that is bullying you, the more he or she adds to it. And you know, most of the time I've had people that they will be saying they couldn't even sleep because they remember what their co-worker said or what he did or the actions he did. So as soon as you discover, make sure that you tell the management so that they can put a stop to it quickly. Is it?
Well, you know, sometimes it's funny too. You know, it says, don't let the sun go down when you're angry, right? You don't have to avoid that person. If that thing happens and you know you're uncomfortable, before your shift, just go and talk to this person. Because if you come with this thing in your heart, you're going to sleep over it, right? It's going to bother you. Just try to be professional. Ask the person what you have done wrong. If you can resolve it, resolve it. Otherwise, when you're angry with someone, when you see the person, sometimes goosebump. Maybe it's only me. You feel goosebump everywhere. You become very numb. Things that you know you will do perfectly, but because you're angry with this person, that you will not be able even to perform your tasks, right? All the time, or you will do it just to please this person. But you know what? You don't have to go through that. At the end of shift, or even in the middle of the shift, You just have to say, hey, did I do something wrong? Did I say something wrong? We can resolve it because we work here, you know. I don't want it to be a place where we have some confusion or anything. It's just a place for us to work. That is it. Just resolve it. Do not avoid people who make you angry, because it will actually cost you a lot of pain in your life. So I think this is, I believe this is it, how to manage your anger, right? So we have more questions from last week, and this is sent by one of our favorite brother too. You didn't have a child for your husband, and you see a 10-year-old child from your husband. Will you accept it with joy to keep your marriage, or will you still say, I am done? Because, okay, so the reason why this question came in last week is just because we were talking about that case scenario involving a married person having kids, and then finally the lady discovered that, or the guy came and told the wife and the kids that, you know, I have a child outside. But this one is asked differently. And also we are going to get another question connected to this. So let's try to answer really quickly because time is against us. So this one is, your husband wasn't married. You didn't have a child with your husband. So are you going to be mad, or are you going to accept it, or what is your opinion?
Okay.
Really quick.
Remember that those the couple, they don't have any child. So it's like the wife will be relying on the husband for strength, and in daily strength, because this is the big challenge. So the wife will be relying on the husband will be relying on the wife. Now, suddenly a 10-year-old boy came into the family. Now, the trust has been betrayed. The wife, it will be like a world has crashed before her. Because number one, she will be shocked. Number two, she will be asking, how? Because this is the husband that, if they are Christian, they will be praying, they will be fasting, they will be doing lots of things together. So it will be like, how did this happen? So a lot of emotions will rush into the woman. So number one is going to take the grace of God for the woman to get her bearing. Number two, because of that situation, another mark or something will have been established in the woman's brain or heart. Because for her to trust the man again, it will be so hard. Because if the man can betray her so much as 10 years, then I don't know. So it takes the grace of God. Now, when the woman comes to herself, she will accept the boy. She will accept the boy. But God is the only one that can sustain the family. That is.
Yeah. What I would say over this topic, just the same way, I think I'm kind of moderate when it comes to this. Like, you know, when we get married, especially for us women, we are always expecting, like, you know, especially we have our in-laws that, you know, we are going to be fruitful. You know, the blessing of a marriage is the fruits of the womb. And I'm pretty much sure every woman, if you haven't yet been blessed, you are still waiting and expecting that God is going to bless you. And sometimes even women, you feel like, okay, what did I do to? Sometimes women say, you blame yourself. We have the tendency to blame ourselves, even though it may not be really our problems. But sometimes God bless whenever He wants. Just remember, even Sarah. Sarah was the one pushing the husband. Just go do something. I know you love me, you care for me, but I feel like I'm not gonna be fruitful for you, and I don't want you to die without seeing the fruits of your womb. You know, it causes the Abraham to go. I was listening to another man, and that man said like, no. Abraham have no excuse. Abraham supposed to say, no, I'm not gonna go to. You are the one that I'm gonna have the baby with, no matter what. But this Abraham, it seems he was just waiting for a go ahead. He wouldn't wait in 2 minutes. He was going with the wife that, the girl that the wife have given to him.
But remember, this one is not the case of Abraham, though.
No, it's not.
The
Example I'm
just,
coming at. So the example is, so as a woman in the marriage, so if a man bring me a son, because remember, if the marriage does not work out, the baby does not work out, that should not the reason for you to separate.
Yeah.
You have to even to go through adopting a child so you can have the child to raise. If suddenly I see my husband bringing that one son, of course, it will be a mixed emotions. Maybe I was planning to go and adopt a child, and thank God my husband is going to be happy because this child now is going to be a child of her own womb that we are going to raise. So personally, I don't think I would not welcome that baby, as long as I would wish that mother of that baby say it doesn't want anything to do with that baby, so I can really raise and nurture these kids. So the issue will be like now how to keep the relationship between the mother and the child. So on my behalf, myself, I'll be like, anyway, I would go and adopt another kids anyway. Why not raising this child with my husband? Of course, I'll put myself in my husband's shoes. Maybe had the things going on in his mind. I love my wife, but I don't want to kick her out. That's why he was able to hide. Other men can be rude at you, and they tell you you're not productive man. I am going to get, what are you going to do? What are you going to do?
Yeah.
You're not going to do anything. So this man was so respectful enough that you are able to bring you a kid without you even knowing. So again, it requires the wisdom and the grace of God on how to resolve things in marriage.
Yeah, for me, honestly, yeah, a child is a blessing, right? Whether it's in a proper way or not in a proper way, it's a blessing, right? But at least do not wait until the child is 10. Tell me when it happened fresh, right? So that I can be able to know. So everybody has a way of managing their anger. So also here it comes, when you're angry, do not sin. So when you're angry, just know how to work around so that you don't end up ruining your marriage. You have been in this marriage for 10 years. Your husband has been really good, sweet, providing everything, and you guys have good times. Not just because of this young child that came. Then every relationship will fall apart. It doesn't work that way. If you can go for counseling, if you can talk to your elders, if you can talk to your friends, you can talk to them just to get that peace of mind. Of course, you are the leader who is going to take charge of your decision. But here, everybody's opinion, because all of us, some point in our lives, somebody has disappointed us. So we get angry. But because we had that experience, when we talk to you, maybe you will select 1 or 2 things that are positive, and then you can apply, and that will help you in the long run. Anyway, that was a question that was asked last week, and this is also another version, but I know we don't have enough time. I think maybe we can continue next week. Even if not next week, we can be able to continue some other day. But thank you so much for watching. If you have any questions during the week, we want to explore about anger management in different case scenarios. Just send us those questions. We will be glad to discuss. We know we are not going to give right answers, but here we are just talking to discuss to get everybody's opinion. So please do not be silent. Send it to us. We will talk so that we can get also some of the viewers who are very knowledgeable, full of wisdom. They can be able to also write their views, and we can read it back to some of the viewers who did not have access to the opinions or idea. So, Liz, what do you want our viewers to take home today, more especially from our discussions?
My last word will be very careful. You know, when you are angry, think. Don't just go. Don't just pour out that anger. Think before you do anything. Communicate. Allow communication. If you think that there is no need to communicate, go into a secluded place. Talk to yourself. Calm down. You know, there is a way our nerves go up when we are very, very angry. Let it calm down. And then you will see that you will have a better result compared to when you snap or exploded. That is it.
How will you conclude on how do you and what do you want our viewers to take home today?
Okay, thank you so much, Sister Victoria. What I want the viewers to take home today is that understand that anger is legitimate. It's okay to be angry, but what we're encouraging you is to be into you now. Acknowledge how you feel right now. Acknowledge that you are angry, and think twice about how am I gonna go about how I feel at the moment. If you are self-aware that you are angry and your conscience is awakened, then when you have to make a decision on how to act, wisdom will kick in. You will know that even though I'm angry at my husband, he's still my husband. I can resolve this issue. Even though I'm angry at my kids, but it's still my kids, I'm not going to harm them. Even though I'm angry at my co-workers, I'm still going to have to see him or her for the time that we are working together. So know that anger is legitimate, but do never allow your feeling, your emotion to dictate what to do to the point that you do something that you regret for the rest of your life. Because the anger can cost you a lifetime regret. So be in charge of how you feel at the moment, at this hour, before you take any action. That's what I will send you home with today.
All right. Thank you so much for our viewers. For me, honestly, you know, when you're angry, just deal with the situation when it's still fresh. You know, take a few minutes, take a deep breath, then address the situation. Because if you let it be longer, it's going to cause you some stress, and you know what the side effects of stress, you know, high blood pressure, high heart rates, you don't eat well, you don't sleep, and it will lead to different kind of sicknesses. So just make sure when you're angry, just make sure that you address the issue right away, and then so that it lets you feel free and forgive yourself if you can be able to. Because sometimes forgiveness is not only for you, you know, it's not for the person who wronged you, it's for yourself. Because someone who wrongs you may think, but you know, you keep thinking to yourself, you'll become a bondage to sin, bondage to things. So you just want to free yourself. Thank you so much for viewing our program. We thank you. We thank you. You are the reasons why every Tuesday we make it here. And keep doing it. We love you and we say thank you. And God bless you. See you next Tuesday. Bye.
Bye.
When it is Tuesday on the True Word Television, it is time to explore the True Wellness Connections.
Welcome again to the True Wellness Connection. My name is Claudine Salomo.
Today is Tuesday.
Especially on Tuesdays like this, we talk about a lot of topics.
Join Mrs. Claudine Salomo
I am not saying you should not love yourself for who you are, but you should want to do something even better.
Victoria Masio,
You just have to be honest with yourself.
and Elizabeth Brimo
The way you live tells so much to the kids.
to talk health, wealth, parenting, relationship, finances, and life at large.
Because any negative thought, trust me, does never build anybody, can only destroy us.
Look deep inside your pocket, your bank account.
The way you handle situations at home matters.
The True Wellness Connections, every Tuesday on the True World Television, 5:30 Winnipeg.
You are watching the True Word Television, spreading the true word